Hello everybody, this is Reid from Runner Space reporting to you live from E10 Kenya, and today I'm joined with special guest Reid Coolsaet from Canada, 210 marathoner and Canadian Olympian. Thank you for joining us, Reid.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Today we're going to do 6 questions with Reid just to see very simply what brings him to Kenya, what drives him, and what's his goals for the next coming years ahead. So I think first question will be, Reid, why Kenya? I mean, there's a lot of easier options for you to go to Canada. The Flagstaff, Mammoth Lakes, Boulder, Colorado would obviously be a much of a nearer flight. So why E10 Kenya for yourself?
Yeah, well, all those places you named in North America can very well have snow in January and February, and if I'm going to take a flight and get out of Canada, I'd rather come somewhere warm. So that's pretty obvious. Of course, the altitude is great here. And of course the amount of good runners here. I can get into a group where there's at least 20 guys in front of me pushing the pace, and there's not that many guys running faster than 210 marathon in North America. And here I can train with a bunch of guys who run 206, 207, 208, and it puts me out of my comfort zone a bit. When I'm at home, all my workouts are fairly calculated. Like I obviously push myself, but it's a bit safer, and here I can really suffer.
Yeah. So would you agree that I guess I've been running here a bit myself. The sheer numbers, you don't get anything like this anywhere in the world. Am I right to say that?
Like if you look down the list, there's I think probably close to 100 Kenyans who have run under 210, and last year in North America there was 0 guys. So yeah, there's obviously a lot of guys, a lot of talented people here. They're working really hard, and to be able to be a part of that is even just for 4 to 8 weeks every winter is pretty cool.
So I'm gonna bring us back a couple of years, 14 years actually, back to the first time you represented Canada at the IAAF World Cross Country Championships. All the way in, where was it that year? 2002?
Yeah, it was in Ireland.
Ireland?
Cool.
Just
outside of Dublin.
Yeah, so since making your first team, you've gone on to make numerous teams, 5K, 10K, cross country, half marathon, and 14 years later you're still going strong. You just clocked a PR in the Berlin Marathon last year. So yeah. What is it that keeps this longevity going? What do you think is, not to say your secret, but what is it about your approach that allows you to run at the high level for 14 years when most distance runners last no more than like 5 or 7?
Yeah, so there's a few things. I think I've been pretty lucky with injuries. I've had my fair share, but I've also been able to overcome them with patience and the right treatment and whatnot. I think by the time you reach your 30s, injuries knock more runners out than anything else. And then on top of that, you have to be highly motivated. So you have to want to keep on improving and train at a high level. And I often find that wanes with a lot of other runners I know. So I've been able to stay motivated. And in Canada, the landscape is such that if I'm running well, I can make teams. Which is obviously a big motivational factor.
Right.
And yeah, like I said, I've been pretty lucky with injuries. But when I have been injured, I've just kind of looked at the long term and worked through them.
Okay, so when in Kenya, you're undoubtedly, your conditions are definitely different compared to in the US or Canada, like uneven surfaces, hilly, high altitude. There are just so many things that are different compared to back home. So how do you adjust your training to account for all these conditions? Yeah,
I try not to worry about pace too much when I'm here, and more of just how I'm feeling, and then relative to guys. Like even this morning we did 25 by 1 minute on, 1 minute off, and it was a net uphill course, and that route it just slows everything down so much that I can't be hammering and trying to reach the same time. So I just go more by feel, and yeah, I know the hills up here and the altitude are going to slow me down, so I just don't worry about that.
I see. So how does it usually translate when you go back to sea level? Like for example, for myself, I can barely break 5:20 per mile, 3:20 per k at altitude, but the last time I was at altitude, I went back to sea level and I ran 5:09 pace for a half marathon. So I touched a pace that I never touched at altitude back at sea level, and that was when I broke my country's national record. For you, does that translate the same way? Does it take a bit of time? How does it work for you?
Yeah, never gonna. Most people don't run as fast at altitude as they will at sea level, so you just always have to take that in. And there's charts too if you ever want to like see, if you're on track to hit certain performances when you get home. But I don't really look at those charts much. I just I just try to feel it out, and sometimes there's a bit of a learning curve, and I bite off more than I can chew, and I end up suffering the second half of a workout. But you learn, and I just figure if you're working hard and not being stupid, that you'll get a good performance out of it when you come down.
I think patience is probably the name of the game, because too many people come up here and they start looking at their watch. They want to hit what they're doing at sea level, and that's when it kind of eats away at the body.
A lot of people have a lot more time when they come here too, and they tend to overtrain. And I've done that too here. I've tried to do the same volume and intensity as I do at sea level, and I just can't do that without overtraining. So I actually have to take the volume down a little bit, and then kind of stay on the same schedule as far as intensity days, and that works a bit better for me. Trying to do the same thing has ended in overtraining and subpar results. So last year worked really well for me, and I'm kind of replicating that this year.
So next question, you moved on to the marathon at the age of 30 and ran a strong debut of 2:17:10. Would you say it was love at first sight for the marathon? Would you say that it was something that you took to the game compared to the 5.5?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of stuck in the 5K and 10K for a long time just because I was improving, and I probably could have moved up earlier. My first marathon was at 29, and I could have run one earlier than that, but I was always taking chunks off of time off my 5K, so I just wanted to see how far I could get with that. And then in 2009, I was coming off an injury, and the standard for Worlds was 2:18, and the standard for Worlds in the 10K was 27:50. And
which year was this, sorry?
2009.
2009.
Yeah, somewhere around 27:50, maybe 27:45. Anyways, I remember thinking 2:18 was a much easier standard to hit than 27:45 from where I was. And 6 weeks before the Ottawa Marathon, just decided to do that, hit my qualifier, and then go on to Worlds in 2009. And yeah, I didn't have the preparation I wanted to for Ottawa, but just the way the marathon played out, I knew that would eventually be my strongest event. And then in 2010, I finally had a full build-up to the marathon and ran 2:11, and that's kind of when I figured, for sure, this is where I want to be.
I mean, there are many schools of thought when it comes to the best period of marathon build-up. Some say 10 weeks, some say 16 weeks, some say 20 weeks. For yourself, what do you usually use, and why is this the case that you use this amount of weeks to build up for a marathon?
Yeah, before I started training for the marathon for real in 2010, when I actually had the time, I looked at different philosophies, and I saw 16 weeks and 12 weeks, and so I went with 14. I talked to my coach about it, and we decided we'll see how that feels, and that was probably good. But as I've matured as a runner and done more marathon build-ups, I find I don't need as much specific time. It's actually better for me to focus on speed closer to my marathon build. So now it's more of a 10 to 12 week build of specific marathon training, and of course that's being fit and kind of doing like the 10K half marathon stuff right up until that 10 to 12 week period. And I find that works well for me, and it's probably what I'll do this year heading into Rio.
Would you say that you would do better with a longer build-up, or does the risk of injury increase? Because many of us are in the more is better mentality, right? Like, if we run X amount of miles, X plus 1 is better. If we run 10 weeks build-up, 15 weeks is better, something like this.
Of course there has to be a limit on it at some point, and I want to feel like I've kind of like maximized my training, and then race fairly soon, instead of kind of getting to the top of my training and having to hold on for week after week after week. That kind of gets monotonous, and of course maybe you burn out, or maybe overtrain, or get an injury. So I try to plan it so I'm not kind of banging my head against the wall for too long before a marathon.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Reid.
No
Wish
worries.
you all the best, and good luck. We hope to see you in Rio this year.
Cool, thanks a lot.
So Reid, what competitions do you have coming up?
At the end of March, I will be racing World Half Marathon Championships
All right.
in Cardiff, Wales, and then April Sun Run, and I hope to focus on a few more 10Ks leading up to Rio.
Nice. So building up on the speed and getting ready for the championship marathon in August, yeah?
That's the plan.
Perfect. Any Instagram accounts, any Twitter accounts we can follow you at to keep track of your progress?
Keep everything simple. At Reid Coolsaet.
At Reid Coolsaet.
Yeah, reidcoolsaet.com and at Reid Coolsaet.
So that's ReidCoolSaet.
SAET.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you, Reid.
Cool.